There is a subtle, almost invisible yearning that lives quietly within some hearts, a desire to be loved deeply, wholly, and without the need for constant reassurance. These are the souls who give freely, who care without expectation, who offer themselves in tenderness and presence, yet carry within a delicate ache, the longing to be seen, understood, and cherished without having to ask. Their love is courageous, for it trusts without testing, hopes without demanding, and opens without fear of being diminished. This desire is shaped by early experiences, by the ways they learned to navigate attachment, trust, and intimacy. They may have known love that was conditional, fleeting, or unpredictable, and in response, cultivated a subtle form of independence. They learned that needing too openly might create disappointment, that expressing longing might invite rejection. And yet, the heart continues to hope, to reach silently, to give fully, and to wish that their quiet offering is enough to be recognized. The paradox of this hidden desire is profound. To want love but not seek repeated affirmation is both a strength and a vulnerability. It reflects resilience and grace, but also carries a quiet cost. The loneliness of waiting, the soft ache of hope restrained, the unspoken wish that someone will meet them fully without prompting. To witness this hidden yearning is to understand a deeply human tension, the simultaneous courage and fragility in loving freely, the silent poetry of hearts that hope without asking, and the tender ache of desire contained. It is the delicate art of wanting, without the safety of constant reassurance, a longing both quiet and profoundly alive. The first stirrings of this hidden desire are subtle, almost imperceptible. It begins as a quiet awareness within the heart, a gentle noticing of what has long remained unspoken. They give love freely, offer attention without expectation, and care deeply, yet somewhere beneath this generosity lies a yearning that does not ask for validation. It is the recognition that they hope to be seen, appreciated, and cherished without having to prompt acknowledgement. This recognition often arises in ordinary moments. A glance unnoticed, a kind gesture unacknowledged, a small disappointment. They notice the quiet ache of longing that persists even when life seems complete. It is a tender tension, an inner awareness that their heart seeks connection while striving not to appear needy. The longing is not loud or demanding. It is a silent pulse beneath the surface, a subtle marker of their emotional depth and sensitivity. Recognition also brings clarity. They begin to see the paradox of their desire, the courage to love without asking, yet the quiet cost of emotional restraint. Each act of giving carries the implicit hope that it will be met with understanding, yet no words are spoken to demand it. In observing this silent yearning, they begin to understand themselves more fully, the resilience that allows them to love so freely, and the fragility that keeps them careful. Recognition is the doorway to awareness, the first step toward understanding the delicate architecture of a heart that wants deeply, hopes quietly, and longs to be met without the constant need for reassurance. It is here, in this gentle noticing, that the journey toward emotional insight quietly begins. The hidden longing to be loved without needing reassurance often finds its roots in early emotional experiences. From childhood, individuals absorb subtle lessons about care, attention, and affection. A smile that was fleeting, a gesture that went unnoticed, or moments when love felt conditional all leave impressions on the tender heart. These experiences teach a delicate balance: to desire love deeply, yet to express that desire with restraint. Attachment patterns play a quiet but powerful role. Children who grew up with inconsistent or unpredictable responses from caregivers learn to internalize affection rather than seek it externally. They discover that longing can exist without demanding fulfillment, and that hope must often be contained. This emotional architecture, while protective, also shapes the capacity to love freely, without the compulsion to seek constant reassurance. Early experiences of emotional self-sufficiency cultivate a paradoxical skill: the ability to give generously while containing personal need. Over time, this becomes a quiet rhythm of interaction, a dance of offering and withholding, of caring and watching, of giving love while silently hoping to be met. Even small gestures of recognition are treasured, not demanded, and acknowledgement is sweet precisely because it is not expected. These foundations also explain the subtle ache that accompanies independence. The desire to be fully loved is never abandoned, yet it is tempered by caution, pride, or the fear of disappointment. The heart learns to navigate intimacy delicately, seeking connection while minimizing perceived vulnerability. In understanding these emotional foundations, we see that the capacity to love without asking is both a gift and a gentle burden, a reflection of resilience, sensitivity, and the human instinct to preserve dignity while quietly yearning to be fully known and cherished. The hidden desire to be loved without needing reassurance is shaped not only by early emotional experiences, but also by the deeper roots of relational and psychological development. Some adults carry forward subtle lessons from childhood: that affection is precious, that love may be conditional, and that vulnerability carries risk. These lessons quietly inform how they navigate relationships, shaping a delicate tension between giving freely and guarding the heart. Attachment patterns play a central role. Those who experienced inconsistent caregiving, emotional unpredictability, or subtle neglect often internalized love as something to be carefully measured and quietly hoped for. They learned to appreciate attention without expecting it, to offer affection without demanding return, and to hold longing silently. Over time, this cultivated an ability to love deeply while maintaining a careful independence. Family dynamics, too, leave an indelible mark. A home where praise was rare, or where needs were understated or deferred, encourages restraint and quiet endurance. Individuals adapt by developing an internal sense of worth, relying on themselves to manage emotional tides, and learning to hope without requesting validation. This adaptation, while protective, becomes a subtle pattern carried into adult relationship. Culture and social norms further reinforce this tendency. Messages that value self-reliance, stoicism, and independence teach the individual that needing reassurance may be seen as weakness or burden. The desire to be loved fully is thus intertwined with caution, creating a careful choreography: to give, to hope, to love, yet to do so quietly, without overt claim. Understanding these origins illuminates the paradox. The heart's courage and resilience coexist with its fragility. The ability to love without constant reassurance is both a strength and a tender burden, a deeply human pattern shaped by life, attachment, and the subtle art of quietly hoping to be known. The hidden desire to be loved without needing reassurance is not only shaped by experience but also by the intricate workings of the mind and brain. Neuroscience reveals that attachment patterns, emotional regulation, and reward pathways work together to create this delicate balance. The brain's reward system responds to affection and recognition, releasing subtle surges of dopamine when connection is felt. Yet for those who have learned to hope without asking, the anticipation of love is often internalized, experienced quietly, without the overt seeking of validation. The amygdala, the brain's emotional sentinel, plays a role in maintaining caution. It monitors social interactions and potential relational risks, keeping the heart vigilant. Even as love is freely offered, the brain subtly registers potential disappointment, encouraging restraint and careful observation. Emotional safety is prioritized, often without conscious awareness. Psychology frames this pattern as an adaptive strategy. Individuals learn to manage vulnerability by balancing hope with restraint. Early experiences of inconsistent affection or conditional attention teach the mind to cultivate independence and self-sufficiency while remaining open to connection. The capacity to love without overtly seeking reassurance becomes a sophisticated form of emotional intelligence, allowing one to navigate relationships with sensitivity and grace. Yet this pattern has its costs. The quiet hope that remains unspoken can create subtle loneliness, emotional fatigue, or a sense of distance from others. Even as love is given generously, the individual may feel their heart's longing unmet, carried silently. Understanding the science behind this desire illuminates its dual nature. It is both protective and limiting, a reflection of resilience, emotional depth, and the human capacity to hope, to give, and to long without needing constant affirmation. Within those who hope to be loved without seeking reassurance, there exists a quiet tension, a delicate tug-of-war between desire and restraint. They long for connection, intimacy, and acknowledgement, yet the patterns that protect their hearts encourage careful observation, measured expression, and subtle self-containment. Every act of love is both courageous and restrained, an offering wrapped in quiet vigilance. This inner conflict is rarely visible to others. Friends and partners may perceive calm composure, generosity, or thoughtfulness, yet beneath lies a nuanced struggle. The mind asks, am I giving too much? Am I exposing too much? Will my hopes go unnoticed? Each interaction is navigated with care, each gesture carefully measured. Vulnerability, even when felt, is often tempered by the instinct to preserve dignity and emotional safety. Resistance is not refusal. It is a protective rhythm honed over years of experience. The mind has learned that unguarded longing can lead to disappointment, and so subtle caution guides behavior. Yet paradoxically, this same restraint deepens self-awareness. They notice their feelings, their patterns, and the gentle ache of desire held quietly. The tension itself becomes a teacher, revealing the intricacy of human emotion, how strength and sensitivity, courage and caution, can coexist within the same heart. This struggle, however, carries a cost. The desire to give and receive love freely is often accompanied by subtle loneliness, muted spontaneity, and moments of internal frustration. Recognizing this inner conflict is essential. It illuminates the delicate balance between independence and connection, self-protection and longing, showing how the capacity to hope without asking is both a profound strength and a quiet emotional burden. There comes a subtle moment when the quiet yearning to be loved without needing reassurance becomes visible to the heart itself. The protective restraint, once comforting, begins to feel constraining. The silent hope, the careful balancing of desire and caution, reveals its hidden cost: emotional distance, muted joy, and the loneliness of unspoken longing. This turning point rarely arrives with drama. It often emerges in small, reflective moments: a fleeting thought after an interaction, the awareness of a connection not fully felt, or the gentle recognition that life is passing while the heart waits quietly. A thought surfaces. Am I holding back what I need most? This simple awareness is profound, a door opening to insight. The mind begins to trace the patterns of restraint, to notice the ways anticipation has shaped behavior and relationship. They recognize that the desire to be loved, while courageous, has been carried silently, without words, and at times without reciprocity. The realization is not self-blame but understanding. The very caution that once protected now limits connection, spontaneity, and the fullness of emotional experience. Within this awareness, a delicate courage emerges. They glimpse the possibility of allowing the heart to express longing, to hope openly, and to trust without constant vigilance. The mind begins to loosen its grip, the heart its silent guard. Recognition becomes a turning point, not a sudden change, but the quiet start of transformation. In this space, the individual stands at the threshold between restraint and presence. The realization itself, gentle and introspective, signals the potential to embrace love more fully, to honor longing without fear, and to cultivate relationships that meet the heart's desire without demanding constant reassurance. Healing begins with gentle awareness, the recognition of patterns, the acknowledgement of silent longing, and the quiet observation of the tension between desire and restraint. The heart that once gave freely while holding back begins to understand that vulnerability need not be a threat, and that love can be both offered and received without losing dignity. Small gestures of openness, sharing a thought, expressing a feeling, or allowing a moment of intimacy, become profound acts of courage, teaching the mind and heart that presence can coexist with safety. Integration is a slow rhythm. The individual learns to balance hope with self-compassion, to navigate the delicate space between longing and restraint. Over time, the protective patterns that once dominated interactions transform into subtle guides. Awareness without fixation, giving without fear, and loving without constant vigilance. The mind begins to witness its own tendencies without judgment, allowing thoughts to flow freely while the heart engages fully. Reflection illuminates the journey. Each moment of restraint, each act of silent endurance, becomes a testament to resilience, sensitivity, and emotional depth. The quiet ache of longing, once isolating, now speaks of human courage, the ability to hope, to love, and to trust without demanding validation. The story closes with tender acceptance. To love fully, to express longing without fear, and to hope without constant reassurance is an act of quiet bravery. Life, with all its uncertainties, is embraced with mindful presence. In this gentle equilibrium, the human heart discovers both safety and the profound beauty of connection, honoring the hidden desire to be cherished while living with courage, grace, and the quiet power of hope fulfilled.